For today's lesson, we will be learning about stop punctuations and all the other information that comes with it as well. Stop punctuations such as commas, dashes, colons, apostrophes, periods, or semicolons are used when you need to come to a complete stop while reading and when you need to separate two independent clauses. So at the end of this lesson, you will be able to understand how stop punctuations work, when to use coordinating conjunctions and what they are, and what an introductory phrase is, and when to use a comma. Coordinating conjunctions are for, and, nor, but, or, yet, and so. And in short, you can just write fanboys. And they're commonly used after a punctuation. Next, let's talk about commas. When stop punctuations stop punctuations can only be used between two independent clauses. And when one of the ideas in a sentence is a dependent clause or a phrase, you need to use a different punctuation. Commas are one of the punctuations that can be used. And if periods are like stoplights, red stoplights, then commas are more like blinking yellow lights, and you should slow down before going on. There are 4 instances of when commas are used, and we will explore each one of them in a little bit. So our first example is the sentence, "The band now known as U2 was formed in 1976. The original name was Feedback." That sounds kind of funny because you just rabble on, and that's because there are no stop punctuations in between the two clauses. It's called a run-on sentence. So think of this, like I said earlier, a period is like a red stoplight where you need to stop completely. A comma, like a blinking yellow light. A run-on sentence is more like a green light. And this is a run-on sentence, like I said earlier, because there is 2 independent clauses. The information about how they were formed, or when they were formed, and what the original name was. And so in order for you to correct this problem, you could use a period. It comes right after 1976. Or you can use a semicolon, also comes after 1976. Or you can also use a comma with a coordinating conjunction word, which also comes after 1976. And with a period and semicolon, it would sound similar. The band now known as U2 was formed in 1976. Their original name was Feedback. And the one with the comma and the fanboy, or the coordinating conjunction, sounds like the band now known as U2 was formed in 1976, but the original name was Feedback. So you slow down and then you say the fanboy or the coordinating conjunction word. And commas, let's learn about the 4 instances of comma use. The first instance is after an introductory idea, and if you look at the sentence and it sounds like this: originally influenced by punk rock bands, the members of U2 believed their music proficiency was not necessarily required to be successful. And if you don't know what an introductory phrase is, you wouldn't be able to find that in this sentence. And an introductory phrase it sounds like a clause, but it doesn't have a subject and verb, and it relies on the subject and verb from the main clause. And mainly, it sets the stage for the information that comes after. And if necessary, it usually comes before a comma, and a comma usually follows after an introductory phrase. So in the sentence, originally influenced by punk rock bands, that is the introductory phrase. The next instance is before and after unnecessary information. I think we will stop here. We don't have enough time.